All right, so quick topic today, just dealing with some motion in Canadian football in the run game. So you see a lot of motion in the passing game, but it obviously applies in the run game as well. So we're just going to watch one clip and sort of talk through this here. So when you initially look at the box here, you have sort of a normal box. You have one back in the backfield. You have 6 defenders, okay, that are kind of truly box defenders handling all 6 of the gaps. So that's a normal sort of one back gap count when you look at the count of the defensive players in the gaps and the offensive blockers and gaps they're able to create. So that's kind of our starting point. So if we just ended it there, you'd probably see some kind of an inside zone, outside zone sort of scheme. We have one defender in each gap, and everything is sort of normal. Now, what the offense is going to do right at the snap, which Canadian football rules allow us to do this, they're going to take this slot and they're going to add this player into the box to create another blocker and to create another run gap for the defense to handle. So if we just watch as this play sort of gets started, there's that added receiver. So it's just going to be an inside zone scheme in the box. And again, here's that added receiver who's coming in to be that additional blocker. And now the defense is going to be forced to react. So what the plan looks like here, and again, I don't coach these teams. I don't know exactly what they're doing. I'm just watching this and observing. But what I'm seeing is this defensive end, number 95, he sees this add-in coming, and he's actually going to work really hard to stay inside of that block, it looks like. It looks like their plan is when they add that receiver, defensive end, you're going to be a C gap player. You're going to be right on the edge, and we'll have some sort of a plan for that D gap that's outside. What you can kind of clearly see is this defensive back who was covering down this slot. When the slot is added, the defensive back is now added to the box. So offense adds one, we add one. That's great versus a lot of coverages. Obviously in man-to-man, that's easy. That's your man adding, so you add. In a lot of zone coverages, if I'm a low zone player, I can add into that. It gets difficult when you have those deep zone players covering down receivers. You're going to need some kind of plan if you end up in that, if the offense puts you in that kind of a situation. But here it's just one for one. They're adding, we're adding. And as the play sort of plays out, those initial 6 are doing a really good job, holding their 6 gaps. Everything's sort of covered. So when the running back sees that, he's going to think, okay, I know I have that add-in player there. I'm probably going to bounce back. And defensively, we're going to be asking this player to handle that play. Now, another additional thing, if this was initially your shuffle player, if he was responsible for the quarterback boot, and he's asked to now fight into the C gap, we'd think that this player here, and that's kind of how it looks, is going to now first sort of think about that quarterback boot. If that quarterback keeps the ball, maybe we'll get a press there. The ball is handed off, and now you see this player fold into the box, actually ends up sort of helping out on the tackle. And the last thing here, it looks great on paper from the offensive side. Okay, we're going to add in, we're going to take this end. Remember, you're taking a receiver-type body usually and putting them on a larger defensive end. So we think defensively, we have a pretty good chance there of at least controlling that block, not getting washed too far. And there you see the add-in player finish with that defensive end in there and a lot of bodies at the football. So just a quick little thought there on Canadian motion rules, how it impacts a run game, especially when they're capping the backside of that inside zone.